Hey, you crazy cats! 42's live streams and videos are simply not available on vinyl. You will have to go to the YouTubes for that. So if you want content about British traditions and culture, cutting edge social commentary from an unapologetically patriotic perspective, along with a side order of madness you simply will not find anywhere else, then this is the place for you. And to all those early adapters in the chat, don't forget to hit the notification bell. That's how you get the good stuff and make sure you never miss a tasty treat. So with that being said and done, squeeze yourself in. Let's get into it. You know you want to. Afternoon, good morning, good evening. Please delete as applicable because the internet is worldwide and time zones are indeed a thing. Can we get a wee audio check in the chat, please? And let me know, was the sound okay for that intro video? Because it sounded a bit loud in my ears. Just want to check what we're at. I'm going to say some hellos. Emma G, there should be a waffle day. You do indeed make excellent waffles. There we go. Welcome to the show. Rags, what about you, chum? Ludwig, glad to see you. Gammon Sandwich, what about you? Ugly Truth. October, evening brother, glad to have you aboard. Ludwig. DJ Resisting the Lies, have you finished your wee dance about wee thin lips going yet? Anglo-Saxon, evening brother, glad to see you. James Hayworth, glad to have you. Hope you enjoy the show. Billy Blogs, what about you, chum? That's a nuanced Pancake Day isn't Catholic, but Lent is a Catholic thing. We'll get into that. It's a little bit technical. It's a duck, quack quack. Tell me the audio's good. Although you missed the intro, you missed out. Ludwig Allen, Robert Ingram. That was indeed quick. Yes. Linda Hunter from Down Under. Brilliant. Glad to see you here. Ragnar again. Billy Blogs. It's a duck. The Hunter. Ludwig. Rory Herbert. Evening, sir. We need to get in contact and start figuring out when we're going to do this stream about the Irish Civil War. Oh, are you mixing the maple syrup and blueberries into the pancakes, or are you putting them on top? Because I have heard of blueberry pancakes, but I think you'd probably be more of a put them on top man. Blueberries. Did you get the blueberry ones? I'm putting in quotes from Pulp Fiction here. Right. Here we go. What else was I going to say? Yes, everything seems to be going well, and a couple of shout outs I want to have. Tomorrow night, 7 a.m., Ragnar Arnspear is on, I presume, with Jack London. Yeah, Jack London's in, and they've got a guest on Off Grid Ireland, if I'm reading that correctly. That should actually be quite interesting. I've never came across that person before, so that will be interesting. Also, the other shout out we like to say, DJ's in the chat. DJ, if you're doing anything tomorrow night, stick it in the chat and I'll give it a shout out. The other thing is John Davison every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday at 9 o'clock. And this coming Friday is the end of the month movie review stream, and they're going to be reviewing a thriller called House of Games, starring Joe Matanga and Lindsay Curse. I've never seen that film, but that's what's going to be on then. So there's that. Did I say AM? Oops. This is bad. Rags is on in the evening, not the morning. And John's on in the evening, not the morning. Uh, things are getting really bad. Let's see. What else we got? The other thing I will say is a very big welcome to anyone that came from Bonnie Lad's stream earlier on this evening. And if you weren't in Bonnie Lad's stream this evening, they did a show about transgenderism and its effects on women's rights and how far this movement's going to go. That was an excellent stream, and I would highly recommend anybody that didn't see it. This is true. I'm messing things up, and I'm even sober. Yes. Yes, that stream was about transgenderism and where that movement's going to go. Really excellent stream. If you didn't see it, I would highly advise getting a look at that and catch up because it was brilliant. It was very good. Oh, hold on, that's the one I wanted. Have you ever talked to an Orthodox Christian about religion? I haven't actually met any of them. I have spoke to Mormons, and I've talked to Jehovah's Witnesses, but I haven't haven't had a good conversation with an Orthodox Christian. So there's all that. And with that, we'll begin to get this show on the road. And where do we start with? We're going to start with Lent. Oh, Raymond Papers just jumped in. What about you, chum? Glad to see it. Yes, I think we will start with Lent. Yes, so we'll go with the history of Lent. Let's get that pulled up in a nice timely fashion. Back to the stream. Share screen. Right, just getting this pulled up now. Oh, did I see John Davison just jumping in there? I think I did. Yeah, I did. John Davison in the house. Welcome aboard. Glad to have you here. I just give a shout out for your streams this week, chum, and your movie review, House of Games, on Friday. Now that's looking a little small to me. I'm going to zoom that in. Right. There we go. The beginning of Lent. This is coming from CT Christian History. Like all Christian holy days and holidays, Lent has changed over the years, but its purpose has always been the same. Now we've got a picture of somebody getting the ice on the forehead, and from that we can tell that they're Catholic because Protestants don't do that shit. What did you give up for Lent? I had grown up in a Baptist and other conservative evangelical Christian churches, so my friend's question held no meaning. I figured it was like a second chance at New Year's resolution for all those who had already abandoned theirs. I don't make New Year's resolutions because it would last about 5 hours or thereabouts. Be lucky to get still be in place by the time I went to bed at some strange hour on New Year's morning. Even around here, Christianity today, At the Christianity Today offices where Christian history is based, it seems that Ash Wednesday passed with little notice. There was just as many donut trays by the coffee pots and just as many hamburgers in the lunchroom. That's surprising, especially since Lent is one of the oldest observations of the Christian calendar. Like all Christian holy days and holidays, it has changed over the years, but its purpose has always been the same. Self-examination and patience demonstrated by self-denial and preparation for Easter. Early church father Irenaeus of Lyons, C 130, C 200. I'm not quite sure what this C means. I think this is a new form of dating that does away with before Christ and Anno Domini, which would be quite perverse considering that this is a Christian publication. Wrote of such a session in the earliest days of the church, but back then it lasted only 2 or 3 days and not the 40 observed today. In 325, at the Council of Nicaea, discussed a 40-day Lenten season of fasting, but it's unclear whether its original intent was just for new Christians preparing for baptism, but it soon encompassed the whole church. This Council of Nicaea, well, to give it its proper title, the First Council of Nicaea in 325 AD, is where the Catholic Church set out what was going to go into the New Testament and a lot of its observances and feast days, etc. How exactly the church counted those 40 days varied depending on the location. In the East, one only fasted on weekdays. The Western Church Lent was 1 week shorter, but included Saturdays. But in both places, the observance was both strict and serious. Only 1 meal was taken a day near the evening, and there was no meat, fish, or animal products to be eaten. Just going to take a quick check in the chat. Yeah, instead of AD. That's how we know that we're basing the time on the death of Christ. So we're in. Yeah, I don't do the whole feeding steak thing. That's a wee Norland joke, by the way. Yeah, because that's what's showing that we're dating ourselves by the important event of the death of Christ, before Christ and after Anno Domini. So that even Christian places have joined in with this new fucking name is a bit alarming. And the Hunter, I love that mass. Thank you, 42. We would lay palm leaves in the church and do a procession. Then those leaves were burnt for the ashes. Funniest mass other than Christmas. That actually does sound quite interesting. Don Brennan's in the house. Evening, Field Marshal. Right. Hey, that current. Yeah. So that's us. We're all good with the chat, and I shall return to the subject at hand. Until the 600s, Lent began on Quadrangle 40th Sunday, but Gregory the Great, 540 to 604 AD, moved it to Wednesday, now called Ash Wednesday, to secure the exact number of 40 days in Lent, not counting Sundays, which were feast days. Gregory, who is regarded as the father of medieval papacy, is also credited with the ceremony that gives the day its name. As Christians came to the church for forgiveness, Gregory marked their foreheads with ashes. reminded them of the biblical symbol of repentance, sackcloth and ashes, and mortality. You are dust, and to dust you will return. Genesis 3:19. By the 800s, some Lenten practices were already becoming more relaxed. First, Christians were allowed to eat after 3 p.m. By the 1400s, it was noon. Eventually, various foods like fish were allowed, and in 1966, the Roman Catholic Church only restricted fast days to Ash Wednesday and Good Friday. It should be noted, however, that the practices in Eastern Orthodox churches are still quite strict. Though Lent is still devoutly observed in some mainline Protestant denominations, most notably Anglican and Episcopalians, others hardly mention it at all. I'm going to come back on this Protestant thing. However, there seems to be a potential for evangelicals to embrace the season again. Many evangelical leaders, including Billy Bright of Campus Crusade and Jerry Farrell, are promoting fasting as a way to prepare for revival. For many evangelicals who see the early church as a model of how the church should be today, revival of Lent may be the next logical step. Now, let me get a little drink, and I get into the differences. They're missing a word here. What they say is, although Lent is devoutly observed in some mainline Protestant denominations, most notably Anglicans and Episcopalians, what they mean is it's observed to some degree in the Protestant Catholic churches, Anglicans and Episcopalians, which would include the likes of your Church of Ireland, Church of England, Church of Scotland. I don't think Wales got a church, maybe not really a country. Whereas your likes of Methodist, Presbyterians, etc., don't hold with any of the Roman traditions. And the term Protestant Catholic, as opposed to Roman Catholic, comes from the Reformation, when the Roman Catholic Church, a bunch of people left the Roman Catholic Church, formed Protestant Catholic churches, and the Lutheran movement. So that's why they would do some of the stuff for Lent. They don't do the ice on the head. They don't fast really, and there's a lot of people that give up something such as alcohol or cigarettes or something like that, or something for Lent to remain to sort of mark it that way. Okay, now going back into the comments. Rags was in the chat. Anglo Rags was in the chat. Toffee's probably walking his dogs, and Sanson will probably be along shortly. Protestant High Church, where Lamp was suggested. Yeah, it's not a strict rule. No, Linda Hunter's not a Protestant. She's a Catholic because she was getting the ice on her forehead. Protestants don't do that. No. This is also true. Self-discipline is a dirty word these days. Oh, I would be very willing to have a good conversation with Orthodox theologians. I'm quite interested in all this whole how all the churches work. The problem is I don't actually know any, so it's hard to get that conversation. Why not give it up forever? Okay, I'm about to come on to that. Here we go. Let's see. David, I asked my dad as a kid what was the difference between us Methodists and other Dharmists. He said harder pews. There's there's a lot of differences in the way the religions practiced. A lot. Uh, Point of interest: the traditional quarter days for charging rent in Britain and Ireland are March 25th, the earliest day, June 24th, Midsummer, September 29th, McMichael's Day, and Christmas Day. Yep. Dude, uh, yes, if you can't give them an email address, I'd be very interested in that, mate. Uh, what date is the start of spring? Well, which spring? There's a couple of springs. There's a couple of dates and a couple of springs. I think we had a bit about the start of Celtic Spring about 2 weeks ago, and then we're going to have a show probably in about 3 weeks where we're getting into the spring rituals and the start of spring. So there is a date. Off the top of my head, I don't know. I would need to do some research. Apparently, there was an African priest that did the Christ fast of 40 days and 40 nights and died recently. There was another one that was fasting and praying and going to demonstrate his congregation that he could walk on water, and he'd been down at the river putting rocks in, building like pillars just underneath the water so he could walk out on them. And obviously that meant he was going to the same part of the river a lot of days in a row, and then he got the congregation all down and started to walk out on the thing and got out by 3 crocodiles. But yeah, pancake pancake day's not today, but it's coming this week. Uh, First off, welcome England for the English. What I tend to do is on the Saturday do the traditions on the weeks it's coming. Right now, yes. To get back to why not give something up forever and why they do it for 40 days and 40 nights. Unfortunately, I have the link for this I have to get is in Wikipedia because all the Christian things are not really talking about it. But here we go. And why is this not showing me what it originally said? Lent. Well, this is awkward. Right. This link that I have got is not saying what it did before. 1 second. Uh, Amanda Lee, good evening. Uh, just give us 1 second while I boomer this. Right, going to do it this way. Right. Here we go. Share screen. Window. Window. Right, make this bigger. Had to do this on the fly, so I don't know. Lent, Latin Christmas 40th, is a solemn religious observance in the literal calendar commemorating the 40 days Jesus spent fasting in the desert and enduring the temptation by Satan, according to the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, and Luke, before beginning his public ministry. So that's where the whole 40 days comes from. So they take the date of Easter Sunday, the or Good Friday, the death of Christ, and then they go 40 days back, and then they have the Lent thing where they give up something, and where you fast and you make yourself pure and ready to celebrate Easter. So that's where the 40 days comes from. Sanson's in the house. You must have been earlier. There was an African preacher that was doing fasting and praying to walk on water, and he'd been down to the river, same place every day, stacking up rocks so he could stand on. It was like he walked on water and got the congregation down. Off he went doing his walking on water thing, promptly got out by 3 crocodiles. Toffee must be in the house. The fucking staff's me. Bally stood up. Oh. Amanda Lee's giving up cake. Cake's good. Right, so there's that. Now, our next thing. So that's Lent. And now we're moving on to Pancake Day. Right. Here we go. Pancake Day. And this is going to be coming from Historic UK. Oh, there's 11 o'clock. Emma G. Yes, this will be fine. Back to StreamYard. It's the Jux. Just remembered there's a cake in the fridge. You shouldn't have cake in your fridge. You should be having that in like a cake tin. Lent. No, Protestants don't really do Lent. They sort of do it a little bit. When are you doing a live stream, boy? I would be so up for that. I would actually. I'll tell you now. I think if you ever want to come on, for part of a show with me, I'll be up for that as well. Right. Oh yes, and you get a collection box to collect for an early version of UNICEF where you're supposed to put your whole 40 days of pocket money in, not likely, and give up lollies or whatever, something meaningful. Oh, what they're doing to kids. Oh right, now I get it. Emma G's accusing me of being Billy Blogs because she says she's never seen the two of us in one place at the one time. I didn't see your message. One momento. Right, let's see what I missed. What? Oh, what Emma G's giving up for Lent. I'm going back till I find it. This could be something very not. I tell you, is it not around the 21st of March? Uh, I'll get you a date momentarily, but I need to find out what Emma G's giving up for Lent. I can't see it. It's gone. The Catholic religion's got a lot to answer for. Right. On the chat, you do not. Right. Got that one. I haven't got one about what you're giving up, Emma. Yeah. I missed what you're giving up for Lent. I'm going back again. Just type it in again, Emma G. This is fucking nuts. I've got a show to do. Is it not around there? No. I can't find this. I'm in full on boomer mode. Yep, nope, can't find it. I'm giving up. I'll find out soon enough. Martin W., that sounds like a plan. Elimination Chamber of Misogyny. I think we need to have a discussion about this, Amaji. But you giving up sex for Lent? Because I'm not. this this could this could get problematic. I think you're just looking for a please. With that madness, nah. Billy Blogs is setting his furry suit on fire for Lent. Enough of this wickedness. Right, Pancake Day. Pancake Day or Shrove Tuesday is a traditional fast day before the start of Lent on Ash Wednesday. Lent, the 40 days leading up to Easter, was traditionally a time of fasting, and on Shrove Tuesday, Anglo-Saxon Christians went to confession and were shriven, absolved of their sins. A bell would be ring for people to confession. This came to be called the Pancake Bell and is still rung today. Shrove Tuesday falls 47 days before Easter Sunday, So the date varies from year to year and falls between February the 3rd and March the 9th in 2021. In 2021, Shrove Tuesday will fall on February the 16th. Shrove Tuesday was the last opportunity to use up eggs and fats before embarking on the Lenten fast, and pancakes were the perfect way of using up these ingredients. A pancake is a thin, flat cake made of batter and fried in a frying pan. A traditional English pancake is very thin and served immediately. Golden syrup or lemon juice or caster sugar are the usual toppings for pancakes. And I very well remember the advertisement for Jif Lemon, which was like a little lemon shaped thing, probably still is, and it's squirted out, it's got like lemon juice on it, and the advertisement was, don't forget the pancakes on Jif Lemon Day. The pancake has a very long history and featured in cookery books as far back as 1439. The tradition of tossing or flipping them is almost as old, and every man and every maid do take their turn and toss their pancakes up for their burn. Pascal's Pauline 1619. If you want to make a pancake, eggs, the ingredients of pancakes can be seen to symbolize 4 points of significance at this time of year. Eggs, creation; flour, the staff of life; salt, wholesomeness; and milk, purity. To make 8 or so pancakes, you will need 8 ounces of plain flour, 2 large eggs, 1 pint of milk, and salt. Mix together and whisk well. Here's an idea. What about I start doing odd cookery streams? I'm going to call it Only Pans. Leave to stand for 30 minutes. Heat a little oil in the frying pan. Pour in enough batter to cover the base of the pan and let it cook until the base of the pancake is browned. Then shake the pan to loosen the pancake and flip the pancake over to brown the other side. In the UK, pancake races form an important part of Shrove Tuesday celebration, an opportunity for large numbers of people, often in fancy dress, to race down the streets tossing pancakes. The object of the race is to get to the finishing line first, carrying a frying pan with a cooked pancake in it and flipping the pancake as you run. The most famous pancake race takes place in Orkney, in Buckinghamshire. According to a tradition, in 1445, a woman of Olney heard the shriving bell while she was making pancakes and ran to the church in her apron, still clutching her frying pan. The only pancake race is now world famous. Competitors have to be local housewives and they must wear an apron and a hat or scarf. And there's a nice picture of them, all in their racy poos with their frying pans. Each contestant has a frying pan containing a hot pancake. She must toss it 3 times during the race. The first woman to complete the course and arrive at the church, serve her pancake to the bell ringer, and be kissed by him is the winner. I think they've dropped this kissing bit at the end. At Westminster School in London, the annual pancake grease is held. A verger from Westminster Abbey led by a procession of boys into the playground where the school cook tosses a huge pancake over a 5-meter high bar. The boys then race to grab a portion of the pancake, and the one who ends up with the largest piece receives a financial reward from the dean, originally a guinea or a sovereign. And actually, I'm going to check the comments. Yeah, had a bit of that myself, Tom. Frying pans can be a bit iffy, especially if they're still hot. It's not good. Really, really not good. They don't look like real one. Sweet old trads. Andy Bershaw, evening chum. Cloppy Monday for me. Don't like pancakes. Oh, Linda's off to make some. Unfortunately, not. We have a week with no bonfires. There's no fire involved in any of this. It's not good. Right. Right. I think that's. Yep. That's all the comments commented on. They'll need to. In Scarborough, Yorkshire, on Shrove Tuesday, everyone assembles in the promenade to skip. Large ropes are stretched across the road where there might be 10 or more people skipping on one rope. The origin of the custom is not known, but skipping was once a magical game associated with the sowing and spreading of seeds, which may have been played on burial mounds during the Middle Ages. Many towns throughout England used to hold traditional Shrove Tuesday football, mob football games dating as far back as the 12th century. The practice mostly died out with the passing of the 1835 Highways Act, which banned the playing of football on public highways. But a number of towns have managed to maintain the tradition to the present day, including Alnwick in Northumberland, Ashbourne in Derbyshire, called the Royal Shrove football match, Atherstone in Warwickshire, Sedgefield, called the ball game, and County Durham and St Crum Major, called the hurling of silver ball in Cornwall. And we're going to be talking about most of those things. So here we go. We're going next to the pancake race. That would be the. Actually, we're going to go to the skipping. No, we're going to the pancake race. That would be. I think this is the one we. No, this one. We're going to play a little video. And let's see which video I've actually. Right. Get this in the theater mode. Back to StreamYards. Here we go. A little bit of video. Oh no, wrong thing. Cancel. I am boomering it like mad tonight. This is not good. Here we go. Boom, boom, boom.
Shrove Tuesday puts the villagers of Oney, Buckinghamshire, right in the news as women and girls prepare for their annual Pancake race, an event 5 centuries old. All set, and they're off. 24 starters who have to toss their pancakes 3 times as they race to the doors of the church. You can take their word for it that a frying pan can be quite a handicap, but look at their speed. Into the churchyard, and the winner, 18-year-old Florence Callow, receives a ceremonial kiss from the Virgin. The rest of the field show they're still in good form, while the local pessimist wonders where this sort of thing will end. And here comes the answer.
There we go. Evening access. Women are women. Them as it is. Did you see the speed of them? What I will say is, did you notice the lack of obesity and how quick those women were on? I'm pretty sure that if you had the actual times from then and today, you would find that the times have went down over the years. Now, we'll have a more recent version of that. Right, just give us a second to get this to the bit where the actual race is. Right. Here we go. I think from there would be good. Share screen. Share screen. Here we go.
Okay, keep cheering. Well done, everyone. Yay! Okay, I'm not sure if it's any.
Now, that was the race from 2022. Can you give me a one in the chat if you think the women from the 30s had a faster time than the women of 2022? Let's see. I'm going to check through the chats. Oh, Rory Herbert, that video was indeed speeded up because you could tell by the way the people in front of them were walking. It wasn't normal gait. They've speeded up the video of the bit where they were running, which means that, like, the other one pretty much showed you the whole race. So you can't even work out the time in the video. Yep. That went as expected. It's a duck. Martin W., Real Vincent Griffin, Amanda Lee, Bass, James Hayworth, Ludwig, Karen's first, second, and third. Oh. Good one, Toffee. A woman is an adult human female. I don't believe that is controversial at all. The biggest form of controversy I see about the whole "what is a woman" thing is the absence of the debate, the absence of a debate about what a man is, and the reluctance to define a man as an adult human male, because the same people that insist that a woman is an adult human female, they have a lot of qualifiers as to what a real man is. And if they demand a man be defined as adult human male, it precludes them from saying things like, a real man pays the rent even if he's not on the lease. A real man defends all women. So there is that. Yep, it's a flat Yorkshire pudding. Sounds about right. No, there wasn't a lot of diversity. Marmite on toast. Ludwig is enjoying the next best thing, the pancakes right now. Marmite on toast. Nah, that's going to be a divider of the room. Well, we Brits are brilliant, but we can't do food. I think our food's pretty good. I think a nice roast dinner, uh, be it chicken, be it whatever roast beast you go with, and roast potatoes and cream potatoes and uh, some veggies, nice bit of gravy. I think that's fucking excellent. Even a Yorkshire pudding thrown in there. Is there something like mini pan? Yes, there are pancakes that are made smaller or in a small pan. Good ulcer fry. Now you're talking. Even an egg and sausage soda. Ooh, going to be making me hungry. Pancakes are good whenever they're not totally covered and totally stacked and covered in pancakes, and they're sweet. Uh, see, lamb's liver, nice and gravy. Couldn't beat it with a big stick. Nah, nah. So that's the pancake racing, and I think the next thing we're going to do is the skipping. And here we go. Share screen. Sure. Let's see what this looks like on the screen. I think we can maybe make it a little larger. Yep, that's looking about right. Now, this is from Scarborough Maritime Heritage Centre. Shrove Tuesday is traditional feast day preceding Lent as part of the build up to Easter. In Anglo-Saxon times, people were called to confession, were forgiven for their sins, hence the Shrove. The bell would be rung, call people to confession. In Scarborough, the bell that was used was the curfew bell on St Thomas's Hospital in what is now North Street. Eventually, this bell was called the Pancake Bell and was rung at 12 noon, supposedly to let the housewives know when to start cooking the pancakes. Pancakes were traditionally eaten to use up all the sweet treats that were given up for Lent. In 1861, the hospital was knocked down and the bell was removed to Rotund Museum, where the tradition continued until 1979, when the bell was replaced with a ship's bell due to a crack in the original bell. In 1996, a replica bell was placed on the wall North Street, Newbury Junction, close to where the original bell had been sounded and rung annually by the mayor or town crier. In the 1800s, possibly servants and labourers were given a half day off for Lent. In Scarborough, they would gather on the beach and play a game of mob football, whilst many looked on. The children would also play games on the beach, including skipping, and many stalls were set up selling toys, trinkets, creating a festive atmosphere. Shrove Tuesday was known locally as Bell Day, a name which persisted until it was replaced by Skipping Day in the early 1900s. The half-day holiday is part of the tradition which is dying out, but could be seen in Scarborough in the 1970s as many apprentices had their half-day. While some shops and banks honoured it through the 1980s, it can still be seen as at most local schools who give the children the afternoon off. Strangely, the first official recording of Skipping Day was not until 1903, when it was believed that the local fishermen would supply the children with their old fishing ropes that were getting thrown away. By 1915, the workers from two Scarborough breweries, Natsfield and Scupper and Whitby, challenged each other to a charity football match on the beach, similar to a charity Boxing Day match between the fishermen and firemen, which started in 1893, which is still played annually, with money raised from going to the Work People's Hospital Fund. It was a great success and was played again the following year. However, with World War I drawing many of the young men drawing many of young men away, it was abandoned until 1920, when it resumed annually. And in 1922, an annual tug of war was added as part of festivities. Nestfields were taken over by Moores and Robinsons, who in 1935 pulled out of the match, their place being filled by a team from the corporation's electrical department. Sadly, the matches of tug of war were stopped for World War II and never resumed, but Skipping Day still carries on. In more recent years, there's been a pancake races run on Aberdeen Walk, open to local businesses, organisations and individual teams. They are usually attended by the mayor and town crier. Another tradition which was crept into the Skipping Day calendar has been running for a number of years in the Scarborough Sea Cadets and East Serngate, supplying fresh cooked pancakes at a modest price. So here's some pictures of what it was like back then. Got a whole bunch of people here, all skipping on the one rope. That's 1958. There's 2011. And there's the bell. There's a town crier. And now we're going to have a little video of said event. Yeah, neither did I until this week. The joy of this is I look up all the traditions the week before and then put it on the show on Saturday night. So I'm learning a lot of stuff that I didn't know. Why I started doing this was I knew that there was cheese rolling. That was sort of the start of it. I knew there was cheese rolling. Didn't know anything about it. It's history or tradition. But I did get fucking notifications about the Notting Hill Carnival every year. And then I decided to have a look into what other traditions hadn't been told about, and I was thinking that we'd probably get like 5 or 6, but turns out that I do this show every week, and I haven't had a tradition I haven't had a week where I've had no traditions to talk about, and we're coming close to a full year. Right, now, with that said and done, let's get the skipping video. What percent share screen? And this video is from Calendar Customs.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah! ladies, gentlemen, and children, will you please welcome the Mayor of the Borough of Scarborough, Councillor Helen Mallory, who will ring the pancake bell. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Give the man a big hand, ladies.
Do you like the way he had to step in to sort of tell her to stop ringing it? That's a bit more like at least a couple of people on the one rope. I remember doing skipping like that as a kid out in the street. It was class. There we go. So there is the skipping day wrapped up. $42. Pancakes are popular in America for breakfast. I was in a hotel in Washington, D.C., and the fat couple next to me must have at least 15 pancakes piled up on their plates, and that's why they were fat. They had a problem. The problem with portion control. Right, 1 second, I need to call. 42 skipped like a girl. To be fair, boys and girls in our street did that skipping thing. It was just something to do. Let's see, anything else I need to get involved with? And we're going to have our strange sports interlude at this point. And it is the strangest sport of strangest sport that you would ever see. Well, it was going to be a sport, but I can't find. I can find the competition form, but I couldn't find good videos of the competition form. So we're going with a bit of abacus counting, competitive abacus counting. Although, to be fair, this is not actually a competition, but I did find it fascinating. Should get this scream up. Here we go. Before I start this, I'm gonna. There's me thinking I was the only one who would join the girls with skipping, but in my defense, it was only 7. No, it was in our street. There was a big long rope, and everybody bailed in, and then you had to take turn at the end, fucking turning the bastard, which was a bit energetic. Right. Check this out.
Big number, 10 to 14 digit. 5 numbers, addition only. Ready? Starting with 7 trillion 425 billion, 180 million, $341,609, 40 trillion, 236 billion, 412 million, $97,386, $1,793,468,520, $982 billion, $509,182,467, $17,345,906,273. That's all. How much did you get? Okay, please say answer in English.
48,260,3,240,960,255.
That's right. Well done. Well done.
No, Bitcoin does not quite work like that. What do we reckon? Oh my god, GH is only 7. I agree, it's not a sport, but they do it. They do have competitions in this. It is fucking nuts. Now I've got another one. I've got an abacus versus a calculator, which technically is a race. So we'll get this pulled up. Right. Share screen, Chrome tab. And that abacus was fucking invisible. Okay, an abacus. It's meant to show that fucking people can count really fucking quickly with abacuses. Yep. Sansom, I've seen a load of videos where they're fucking waving their hands about and counting and getting it right every time. It's fucking mad. Now, with that, we're going to move on to the football thing. This is getting quite video intensive, but that's just how it went this week, because I wanted you to be able to see the football Right, here we go. Get this video up. I think I've got the right one. 1 second. One second, just to check this. All right, this is what I wanted.
At Alnwick, Northumberland, the game is started when the ball is thrown from the battlements of the castle. The main object is to get the ball into the river, and he who fishes it out receives a monetary reward. At Ashbourne, Derbyshire, Shrove Tuesday Football is also a very ancient tradition.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a ball that's been thrown up today, and our great pleasure as Secretary of the Shrove Tuesday Football Committee to hand it over to Mr. Charles Turpey of Derby, who is now going to throw the ball up here, Mr. Turpey.
It's the sound thing. Yeah, I'll bet that's what that is.
It's a rough and tumble through the town and through streets. The game lasts as long as there's anything to last. You can break off for a breather and start in again any time. Here's an extraordinary thing. For the first time in memory, a goal is scored when the ball is taken down to the old mill. Who scored, we don't know, but who cares?
Fuck, I was on mute. Samson's giving me information here. That castle is where Alton Towers is now. Must be a local lot. Did you ever go play that game? No change joggers or trainers in sight. It is. Now, we've got a more recent version of that, which I'm going to fire up now. Chrome tab.
Sickbed to throw the ball from the battlements of Alnwick Castle in preparation for the town's annual Shrove Tuesday football match. It was then carried down the hill with the Duke's piper at the head of the column. Locals cannot recall this game between the parishes of St Michael and St Paul ever being called off by the weather, and a few inches of snow wasn't going to stop them today. A contingent of cheerleaders encouraged some American students taking part, but some people seemed a little bit vague about the rules. After a goal, or hail as they call them, the teams should change ends, but that just seemed to cause confusion. You certainly needed stamina. The pitch is a quarter of a mile long.
We've no record of when it actually started, but I think it started in medieval times. But originally, of course, it was played in the streets of Alnwick. But there was so much damage being done to all the property in the town, the shopkeepers took a petition to the Duke. It was Duke Elgin at the time. And I knew that would happen. And in 1827, and in 1828, it was started to be played down in the what we call the pastures, the North Domain. Along the pitch in those days was half a mile long, and there was two balls provided by the Duke. There was a game between the married and single freemen, and there was a game for the non-freemen. And the Duke gave an award of 5 sovereigns to the winning team. And they went to the town hall and had a great big binge up at night. And when he heard about this next year, he gave another 5 sovereigns towards that party. So really, it's, to be quite honest, it's because of the influence of the castle and the interest, the personal interest the Dukes have taken over the years that this game has survived in Alnwick, where it's died out, all over the country, really. There's very few places being played in. Because at one time, of course, we played in nearly every town and village in the country.
And the final tradition, the ball is thrown into the river and the first man out of the water with it at the other side keeps it for life. 3 Americans then used the river as a shortcut. Not only was the water bitterly cold, they were pelted with snowballs as well.
So, there we go. He sounds like an evil bigot. Yeah. Ha! How much you used to go there every week because me mate worked there and I'm taking this as Alton Towers. That paper is called Richard Butler, official paper to His Grace the Duke of Northumberland. I'll tell you something else. He's also using Irish pipes. They weren't bagpipes, they were Irish pipes. Ha! The Shrove football's following him around the place. Yes, Emma G love their trips to Falk. Emma G love their trips to Alton Towers. That I didn't know. They looked very like Irish pipes to me. This is new information. I'll take that back. If they're Northumberland pipes. Oh, October's all over it as well. Ulian pipes. Nah. We're now going to the Have I lost? I've lost a video. Oh dear. Oh well. This is awkward. All right. This is one I thought I had. We'll probably actually share it. Here we go. All right, just getting this one up for the all-in football. The ball game of Atherton, 1952.
It's Shrove Tide in Atherton and time for soccer star and local boy Nobby Wilson to start the annual football through the streets. From 3 till 5, the all-in will continue, and the law can't do anything about it. King John started the lark when he threw a bag of gold to get rid of an Atherton crowd. Now they use a football, and whoever holds it at 5 o'clock is entitled to collect with it in all the locals.
For the kick.
I'm just going to pause that here. So you'll see what's happening now. They've brought in Murder Ball. Where's Sansom's comment? So basically, it's Murder Ball like we play at school. It is indeed. That's exactly what it is. Only instead of having a mat at the end to put the ball down on the score goal, it's whoever has it at the end of the game, they get to keep it. And they get a prize. So you'll see what's happened now is they have brought in stewards. So every time somebody catches it, they bring in the stewards. They push everybody else out of the way. And then he lets all the kids, everybody else, have a bit of a kick at the ball. And then he puts it again. And at this stage, it's not totally the free-for-all because that starts with around about 20 minutes. That starts with about 20 minutes to go.
You can't match out with them. Excuse me, please. Scratch your backs.
Oh, for fuck's sake. I've been rabbling away on fucking mute. Crap. Right. I think I've gone deaf. Talk amongst yourselves. What's going on here? I was on fucking mute. Oh, crack. Yeah, it wasn't you, actually. It was the stream. Yes, I'm back. Thank fuck for that. Mute way. Right. Let's see. A very quick boomer thing. It was indeed. A very quick recap. Yes. Exactly. Yes. Took Amaji's oldest young lad to the park, giving him a bit of football training, and was showing off doing keep you uppies and a stretch for one of shooting, having put a muscle on my calf. It was fucking it was agony. Not good. Then I thought DJ was I played a mean pinball as well, to be fair. Then I was reading DJ's comment about having been there, and it turned out it wasn't the game he'd been to, it was the Alton Towers. Actually, in fact, you can't kick a ball straight because you didn't practice enough. It's a duck could do about 300. I almost stopped counting at 100 and stopped whenever I got bored. Yeah, so there we go. Right, now let me think. Is there anything else I really need to cover tonight? How long have we been going? About an hour and a half. That's pretty much all the Easter and Lent stuff. DJ, do you want to come on and tell us your opinion about thin lips? Stepping down, and how long you danced for on here in the news? Because we could do that if you wanted. I've stuck the link in the chat for you if you want to come in and do that. Yes, Thin Lips has I could do like good mom. Yes, we'll do that. I'm fairly sure that archery was compulsory in England on Sundays up until the 16th century. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've read stuff about that, about it being compulsory to learn how to fire a longbow. And then come time of war, if they were in need, they have people, the people trained up and ready to roll. 42. He wants to come on tonight because he's too tired to do it on the 8th. He's too tired to do an 8:30 these days on Sunday. Poor bugger. Oh, bless. Oh. Nah. To be fair, you may have a point. Amaji's on her way home from work. And anything else in this chat? I wanted to check back and see. Was there any comments about the actual game? Oh, funny you mention that. I was going to actually talk about the execution of Mary Queen of Scots tonight. That was a possible, but I've decided against it, given the time it was done, and I'll leave that for next year. Elites always do this to take away people's freedom and express themselves, and it means to defend. And yes, we're getting cherries all over the place. Raymond Piper's in with a thumbs up. I want to get back to comments possibly about the mass brawl football. There's DJ. Evening, sir. How's yourself?
Well, not bad. Yourself?
Doing okay. I had a bit of a escapade at the start of the week. I went to lean on a windowsill, and with the heel of my hand, and it didn't quite work. And I cracked my knuckle on the radiator. It sits right below the windowsill. So I've got a finger that's swole up, and but other than that, I'm good.
I could probably outdo that, to be honest. I've had to put Gorilla Tape on my back bumper. It's I reversed into a bush, and it happened to be a relatively thick bush, and it pulled my bumper off, sort of. So, yeah, that happened.
your bumper stuck on with Gorilla Tape.
My back bumper, aye. So, because I drove down the road today, and then when I got to where I was going, this guy came up to me when I parked, and he was like, "Oh, by the way, your front tire's flat." And I was like, "What?" So I got out and checked, and it was like proper flat. So I thought I must have a puncture or something. So I filled the car, like the tire hang up, because I got one of those things with a tire pressure hang.
Right.
Filled it up, then went to where I was going. Came back, checked the tire pressure, and it hadn't gone down at all. So that ruled out the theory of it being a puncture or something.
Yeah.
So what had effectively happened was I'd driven fucking 2.5 hours down 89 a flat tire. And I didn't even know, right? So, I ruled that out. Thank God, crisis averted. But then half an hour later, reversing a bush. And I pulled my bumper
I'm
off.
surprised your tire still works.
So am I, to be honest. But what I'm more irritated about is the fact that my car didn't even fucking tell me. Like, I've got that wee thing in my car for a reason. So when your tire pressure's low, fill it up. Like, so I don't have a clue why it didn't work this time around.
Funny you should mention that. Maybe your tire could do with somewhere like it seems to be on like all the time.
Oil, did you say?
No. Oh no, fuck no. Air pressure.
Yeah, aye. But that's I've got one of those things where instead of going to like the fucking petrol station to fill it up, I've got one in my car. So
yeah,
proper flat, like proper flat. Like, it looked as if somebody had shot it with a fucking bazooka.
The one on mine is extremely sensitive. If it goes like, if it's not exactly on what that car wants, it goes off. So I've tires that my tires aren't flat, but they've lost like 1 pound of pressure, and the light comes on. So mine's on pretty much all the time. I might actually want to get that sorted.
I would do my nothing.
Yeah,
because like it pisses away your petrol if your tire pressure's too low.
Yeah. Well,
actually, the other thing as well, right? Just on a side note, sorry, right? I filled up my car this morning before I went down the road, right? And I was near the red. £71. 71 fucking pound. Now, I'm not driving a Range Rover. I'm not driving a limousine or a tank. I'm driving a fucking normal car, normal size. I'm not going to say exactly what make it is in case there's some weirdo watching, but £71. Like, Jesus Christ. A fucking tit job's going to be cheaper than fucking filling your car up in the street. Like,
well, funny you mention that. I go through round about 15 quid a petrol a week.
15 a week?
Yeah. But I don't drive very far. I live like 3 miles from my work.
Aye.
You know, so that's all the miles I'm doing. I have one drive a week that would be, I don't know, 10 miles, something like that. Yeah, 20 miles whenever you take there and back. So I'm on like, I used to go through around about a 10 on an average week, and it's now up to about 15.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Right. Well, luckily I'm getting a lift to work now, so I'm not really burning that much petrol. But it is just a joke because back before all this nonsense started, my car could be filled up for about 30 quid.
Do you know what would save you money on petrol? 15-minute cities.
That and adequate tire pressure, clearly.
Yeah, that might help.
Might help me.
You know, see if you had something like 15-minute silly where everything you needed to go to was within 15 minutes of walking or available bus services. It would save you a fortune on petrol, mate.
That or maybe chip fat, you know.
Yes. But I'm really
teacher at school used to drive about in his fucking chip fat car, so I mean I know it's possible.
Yeah. I was trying to get you to bike there in the 15-minute cities, but it's not working.
Oh, no, it's funny. Like, it's not one of those things where I blow about the trumpet, but like everybody's talking about it now. But okay, admittedly, my videos are about 50 minutes long or whatever the fuck. But I was talking about it in January 2021. So, like, you know, it's great that everybody's on board with it now, but it's kind of old news to me.
Yes. Well, what did you make of Miss Thin Lips?
You know, it's funny because, like, I thought the first thing I thought was relatively questionable about all this gender BS was the fact that when I found out that other countries had implemented or were planning on implementing similar things, and I was like, there's no way that this is going to be the hill that the SNP die on. Like, because like the sort of impression that was being generated was, and the fact that the SNP were like defending it so vehemently, it was, you would almost assume that they'd conjured up this policy out of thin air, but it wasn't. They just copy and pasted it from other countries. So I thought that was sort of questionable. But that seems to be like the narrative that everybody's running with now. Well, it's because Nicola Sturgeon can't define what a man is or a woman is. That's why she stepped down. I'm like, come on, the fuck. I think there's a lot more to it than that. And you just need to look at the fact that, like, Jacinda Ardern, just a few weeks prior to that, stepped down and gave the exact same reasons that Sturgeon gave. She picked the like days after it was announced that there was going to be a police investigation into funding. There's obviously the missing 600k. There's also the fact that Peter Morell, her gay husband, donated 100 grand just after there was talks of an investigation in the 600k. There's also Craig Murray is one of the journalists that's apparently got the emails. Emails have been taken via hacks of, what's his fucking name? Oh, it's that specky guy, Stuart McDonald. I think is it Stuart McDonald, SNP member. Emails have been leaked, and apparently in these emails there's correspondence between Nicola Sturgeon and this guy in question, Stuart McDonald, about the money as well as like all the gender BS. So like there's all the, on top of that, may I add as well, isn't it strange that like Boris Johnson's just disappeared into the sunset? Jacinda's done the same thing. Sturgeon's going to do the same thing. And there's also, like, just as it's been announced that there's going to be the COVID inquiry, etc. Like, this bitch is responsible for, like, she rubber stamped it. She greenlit all this stuff in Scotland. She greenlit all the care home, you know, taking people from hospital and shoving them into care homes. She greenlit that. She greenlit and advocated vehemently for COVID passports, as they were called. She advocated to no end for vaccines for as young as like fucking 5-year-old. Like there's a myriad of different things that this woman, her party, are all culpable in. But I think that the gender stuff is somewhat of a distraction, in all honesty, because that's what everybody's focusing on. Every single video I've seen on YouTube talking about it is that like this is the hill she's died on. And they might be right. They might be wrong. I might be right or I might be wrong. But the reality of the matter is none of us really know why she stepped down. But I find it really irritable that so many people are focusing on the gender shit when there's so much more that could be talked about. And that's exactly the fucking point. It's a distraction in many respects because she's guilty of a lot of shit. She's up to her neck in a lot of shit. She's responsible for a lot of shit. But because she couldn't define what a woman is, that's what we're going to focus on.
Right. Okay. Talk me through this in bits, right? Because all I have heard is that she stepped down.
Yeah.
I haven't read an article, watched a video about it or anything. So why did she say she was stepping down?
Well, she made the claims that it was like she just feels that her time is now. Her heart and her head say the time is now to step down. And she's done all she can for the independence movement. And now it's time for somebody else to pick up the mantle. This comes at a time, obviously, with the gender controversy, that gender bill, and the SNP support starting to plummet in the polls for the first time since her tenure in power. So naturally, people's assumption is that it's because of the gender shit that she's stepping down.
Right.
I don't think it's that.
No.
I think that's a distraction, in all honesty.
Talk to me about this missing 600 grand.
Well, they were giving a rake of money for their independence campaign, or it was supposed to be ring fence for independence, but it's just disappeared into a black hole.
Right.
Never to be seen. It's no one accounts or anything. It's just gone.
Right. The SNP party was given this money.
Yeah.
Right. So.
No. It's sorry. Like it's donations given for an independence drive. I don't.
Right, yes.
I'd have to. I'd be lying if I said if I knew for 100% certainty who actually was the beneficiary of said money.
Not saying this is exactly it, but for example, it would be akin to somebody sets up a GoFundMe to have a political campaign for whatever, and the campaign doesn't happen, and there's no oversight of where the money went to. They just know it's gone.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. And as well, their budget last year, millions and millions and millions of pounds underspent. No accountability for where that money's gone. Money's just disappearing.
And she's running for the hills.
SNP will sit in Holyrood every week and talk to no end about how Scotland's hard done by because of my austerity and my Tories and my right-wing policies, etc., etc. But yet they get given a substantial amount of money annually and they're not spending it. Where's that money? So there's all these different question marks as to the timing of her stepping down, you know, and it seems, and again, this all could blow under the radar and never be spoken about again, but it almost appears as if police investigations are starting to come into effect to try and find out where this money's gone, fraud, etc. That's why she stepped down. As opposed to she can't define what a woman is. Like, I can't help but feel that maybe I'm being conspiratorial in nature, but I think that was done in order to justify her stepping down, give an excuse.
I think the reason why the SNP pushed so hard for the Gender Recognition Act is that all that stuff came from the United Nations or the European Union, and they sort of put it down and told people to go out and implement it in their own country. And the problem with that is, if it fails anywhere, it can fail everywhere. And then say it comes to the UK, which technically it did, because the UK said, actually, no, go fuck yourself, we're not doing this. If it came to the rest of the UK and it had failed in Scotland, the rest of the UK could go, actually, no, it failed up there, we're not doing this. Or if it failed in Poland, other people can look at it and go, actually, no, they didn't do it. So they are predisposed for fighting like hell for everything that's handed down them to pass out.
Yeah. No, I would agree with that. As I said earlier on, like there's multiple countries have implemented it already or plan to. It's like it's not coincidental. Like that every country in question seems to be implementing near enough word for word identical policies. So nothing is organic in nature. That's what I'm saying. That was my first red flag for me. And I think I made reference to that in the streams that I appeared on at the time. Like, it's a bit weird that this is a hill she's going to die on when this isn't even her own policy. You know, it's a copy and paste, but yet all of her opposition never actually made that point against it. Nobody at any point said you're just taking policies from other countries and trying to implement it as your own. Like, what? None of that was said. The attack has always been from the start. Oh, this is your policy. You are X, Y, and Z, etc., etc., etc. And they're justified in their accusations to a certain extent in terms of it's a cancerous fucking policy or bill that we're trying to put through, right? But it's not her bill. It's not her idea. It wasn't the party's organic movement came together around a fucking drawing board and conjured it up. They just took it from like Spain and Finland, for example.
See, there's a lot of stuff that's in Agenda 2030 and other policies that we've been implementing that I can recognize came straight from the Istanbul Convention on Protection of Women and Girls, because the Istanbul Convention came across my radar. I don't know, 2014, there or thereabouts, with the men's rights stuff. And then whenever I was seeing other bits of legislation coming out, I was able to go, fuck, that's in that. So it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if there's been some convention somewhere which came from the United Nations, as the Istanbul Convention did, and they went, bump, bump, we want to do this, and this, and then all the countries have even not necessarily signed up to implement the convention, but they've went, right, okay, bump, 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 give us that, and they start putting it through their governments. Because what I find very nefarious about all this is the United Nations, the World Health Organization, the World Economic Forum. Nobody has elected them, but it seems that the policies they put forward become law everywhere, and it doesn't matter who we elect. They refer to the United Nations on a shitload of stuff. They refer to the World Health Organization on a shitload of stuff. So you're actually circumnavigating the election process.
Aye.
And another one that's very big on that is the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. They have their summits, like the Paris conference, and then that will move on to something else. Will be a different one, and we'll also have the COP, and they put down, we want to do this, and this, and it all gets enacted. So, and then the country that doesn't enact it gets shit from the rest of them. So I think that's why they fought so hard on the gender recognition one. And also I thought they were going to be able to just shove that through, because they have become totally arrogant in their administration of the country. And they're like, yeah, no, fuck, the adults are talking, you just, whatever we say, that's what happens. But I definitely would think all that other stuff that's coming in with police investigations, missing money and all that would be that would be a good time to do the off-ski.
Yeah, well, it's like the expression as well. It's it was thrown about when fucking Bucktooth in New Zealand stepped down. It's like jump before you're pushed.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is another one. I'm wondering where else we're going to have leaders disappear from, because there's a lot of this sort of coming on. I haven't had time to properly look into what the inquiry on the COVID's going to be like, or how far that's going to go. But you could see a lot of people jumping over that as well.
No, I do think. Well, that depends on how literally independent the inquiries are on the matter. But like the reality is, if we play along with their narrative and take it at face value, they claim that they took people from hospital who may or may not have had COVID, if you even believe it exists, and shoved them into care homes. Right, for just as one example of many, like the inquiry is obviously going to encompass a lot more than that. But they took people from hospital that may or may not have had quote-unquote COVID, shoved them into care homes, and that's the explanation that's given for why care home deaths spiked exponentially. That in and of itself is heinous, egregious, and quite clearly a fucking crime. Yeah, nobody's been held to account over it. You know?
Yeah, there was a care home in Belfast, or I think it was Belfast. I can't remember exactly where. It was definitely Northern Ireland. I think it was in Belfast, or sort of in the Belfast area, that had a huge amount of deaths, and the staff and the people at the time come out and says, yes, we do have access to this, but it's because you keep sending us people with COVID from your hospital.
Yeah.
And that came out at the time. There was a whole big hoo-ha, a whole big kick-up, but nothing was ever done about it.
No, same here. Same in Scotland. I mean, for a good portion of 2020, like over half of Scottish quote-unquote COVID deaths came from care homes. But then it came out after the fact that like a good portion of people were taken from hospital and shoved straight into care homes. That was sturgeon. Now, obviously, I'm of the belief that she's a puppet, right? But I have to take my bias out of the equation for a second, because irrespective of whether or not she is a puppet or if she's a politician, right, and she controls what she does and says and nobody else does it for her, irrespective of what you believe in that matter, the reality is she rubber stamped, greenlit that policy. So she's responsible for that, the same way that she's responsible for vaccine passports in Scotland, which was, by her own words, I've got these clips on my channel, she admitted it as such that it was done as a means to encourage people to take the vaccine. That's fucking coercion. Literally, in its most literal sense, is coercion. Now, coercion and domestic abuse policy in Scotland is a crime, right? Domestic abuse now encompasses coercion, coercive behaviour, right? Yeah. So that's a crime. Then, of course, there's the fact that she stood on a podium week in, week out, to bullshit about how safe and effective jibby jabby jibbies are, right? When evidence was coming out on the contrary, but she went on and on and on and on and on for months, ignored all of the fucking excess deaths, ignored all of the adverse reactions, etc. It still does to this day, by the way, not held to account. So there's all these different things that are, and I know the argument to counter what I've sort of hypothesized would be, well, there's plenty of other leaders across the West who have done the exact same thing and they've not stepped down. Correct. But my point is, nobody actually knows the real reason as to why she stood down, right? But to just insinuate that it's because she can't define what a fucking woman is kind of irritable at best. And that's not me having a dig. It's like some of the people that I would consider pals on here, but it's like there's a lot of people I'm subscribed to on YouTube who've got massive fucking followings, 10k subs, 15k subs, etc. And it's the same shit. It's gender. It's because she can't define what a woman is. Really? Nicola fucking Thinlips, who's got the best leadership rating of all politicians across the UK, who's got the mainstream media in Scotland and across the UK in her back pocket, who seems to get voted in each and every single election cycle, irrespective of how many false promises she makes and breaks on a whim, but yet she can't define what a woman is and then she gets ousted. Does nobody think it's a bit strange, considering the fact that that policy in question that apparently derailed her whole momentum is copy and pasted from a multitude of different countries? Like, it's just fucking weird, But But I just wanted to say as well, when you were on about UNESCO and United Nations, etc., even this is something I've talked about on so many occasions before, but like the on the Scottish government's own website, right? If you type in, or just go on Google yourself. I mean, I've got the tab open, but can't really be arsed sharing my screen. But Sustainable Development Goals Scotland, right? Type that in, and you will come to find on the Scottish government's own website, their National Performance Framework tab. They say quite clearly the National Performance Framework, which, by the way, just for anybody that's not aware, is where each and every Scottish government policy comes from, right? The National Performance Framework and the Sustainable Development Goals share the same aims, with the National Performance Framework being Scotland's way to localise the Sustainable Development Goals. Now, that might just sound like gibberish, but just put this into context, right? The Sustainable Development Goals were put into practice in 2015. The National Performance Framework, where Scottish government policy comes from, came into effect in 2007. So how the fuck did something come into effect in 2007 created in such a manner that it could work in tandem with something that didn't come out till several years later? Work that one out. Yeah.
Hold on.
No, wait, I'll put it in your private chat, and you can look this one here. Wait, there you go. I have gone through that before.
All right, is that not
right there? There you go.
Right, hold on. Get back to this. There's one thing I will say before we get on this. I've got another reason why so many people died in care homes. It was because they took all the. They stopped
Midazolam, NDRs.
No. Oh no, there's a worse one than that. It's because they stopped the people's families going in.
Yeah.
Because what happened was people's family, so a family had a family member in a care home, and every day people went up, and they went up at dinner time, and whenever the food came out, they sat and spoon fed them. And they had somebody went up in the morning and they made sure that the person was eating. They made sure that the person was drinking water. They made sure that the person was getting everything that they needed. And then they were all told, no, you can't come here anymore. And then what happens is somebody comes 3 times a day, sets food down with their trolley, go on, do the next one, do the next one, do the next one. 20 minutes later, they come back. Oh, were you not feeling hungry today? I'll just take that back for you. And the people fucking starved to death because they weren't getting proper care. Yeah. And they were much easier to put COVID on the death certificate than malnutrition.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't disagree. There's a multitude of fucking horrible things that were taking place when all this lockdown stuff started. But it was just much easier to just pinpoint it all on COVID.
Yeah.
You know? So it was murder in many respects.
Yeah. Oh, it totally is. It's absolutely disgusting. And how they got away with that is...
Yeah, I don't hold any confidence in any public, independent inquiry either, eh? Like, because at the end of the day, like, it's self-explanatory. All these politicians and whatnot, they're all culpable, but yet they still walk about as if they've done fuck all wrong. But yeah, this year, so like this is on the Scottish government's own website. Agenda 2030. Sustainable Development Goals, but it says it quite clearly. The top quotations is from Sturgeon. She made Scotland the first country in the world to sign up to these fucking goals. But if you just scroll down a wee bit, and then it says there, that bit there,
working in partnership,
just a wee bit up, that paragraph above it. There you go. Aye. Yeah.
The National Performance Framework and the goals share the same aims. The National Performance Framework is Scotland's way to localise SDGs. The NPF. Hold on, what the fuck's SDG?
Sustainable Development
Goals. Right. Okay. The National Performance Framework has a focus on tackling inequalities so that no one in Scotland is left behind as we work together to achieve the goals. Yeah.
How does the National Performance Framework something created in 2007 seemed to work in tandem with the Sustainable Development Goals when the latter came out in 2015? Why is it that every single Scottish Government policy seems to have some link back to the Sustainable Development Goals, whether it's climate change bullshit, gender equality bullshit, LGBT bullshit, race bullshit, irrespective, global citizenship, learning for sustainability, social justice, intersectionality, etc., fucking etc. Like, it's meant because that the third wing to all of that stuff is climate. You've got your climate change nonsense. You've got sustainable developments in and of itself. Then you've got learning for sustainability. Learning for sustainability is the total overhaul of Scottish academia to teach children the Sustainable Development Goals. Agenda 2030. It is.
And also to get it into the universities and the academics so that everybody knows exactly what the narrative is that they've got to push out.
Mm-hmm. It is. But yeah, it's funny. I've watched so many videos as of late, not even about the gender stuff, but like S&P simps. And they're all talking about Sturgeon, she's so great. And the only thing that they seem to have to go on is the fact that she managed to maintain momentum for the SNP because she waggled the fucking independence card. But none of these people seem to fathom what she was doing when she broke all of her empty promises, which was, as on the screen just now, implementing absolutely everything possible Sustainable Development Goal related. That might sound conspiratorial to some people, but if you're one of those people that assumes that to be the case, then just fucking read it. It's on their government website. This isn't some fringe blog that 42 is sharing the screen of. It's on the government website. You know what I mean? Couldn't get any more blatant. It's remarkable.
There's a fella I talked to on work, and his position is climate change has to be real because there's no way all those different scientists from all across the globe could all be telling the same lie. But what he hasn't realized is the scientists are saying what they're told to say by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. And that's run by the United Nations. So if you bring 300 scientists from 70 different countries to one conference and tell them all, right, this is what's happening, this is what we're saying about it, this is what we need to do about it, and then send them back to their own countries. And if you put impediments on anyone who doesn't agree with you, of course they're all going to fucking come up with the same fucking shit.
Yeah. Exactly. And on top of that as well, I will just add, for every one scientist who claims that climate change is a man-made phenomenon and whatnot, there's one that'll disagree. But they don't actually ever at any point quote these people. They deliberately approach people that they can either financially blackmail, or people that share and profess the same ideology. There's plenty of scientists, climatologists and whatnot. There's a myriad of different genres, if you will, or descriptives for these people who disagree, but they're never heard of. You have to go seriously deep diving at this point to find them. Yeah, so and they've got the perfect excuse for that because obviously they declared their quote unquote climate emergency, which has given them carte blanche to deliberately, openly, just ignore any sort of dissenting opinion on the matter. But that's just one of 17 goals, I should say. Climate action, as it's called, which is number 13, lucky 13. It all works in tandem. Every single fucking policy, from global citizenship is a concept that's thrown about quite often these days, but that comes from these goals. The whole thing from start to finish, it's linked intrinsically to these goals. And then before the Sustainable Development Goals, there was the Millennium Development Goals, which was more focused on poorer nations. But the Scottish Government, if you read old documentation, including their white paper for independence in 2014, they make reference to the Millennium Development Goals. So this isn't a new thing. This is like a several decade old agenda, which is derivative of the Club of Rome initially, which then eventually became the COP seminars, which started off in Rio back in 1992. And from that point onwards, it's just been straightforward in the direction of implementing this vision that they've got. And devolution, in my opinion, was put into practice for one purpose only: to weaken the United Kingdom and allow for devolved governments to implement these goals independently, quote unquote. You know,
here Don Brownie makes a point. Care homes aren't cheap here. We call it bleed them dry before they die. Now, there's a very pernicious thing going on here. That you'll find that whenever somebody goes in their care home, tell them, sell your house, and we'll use that money to pay for your care home. And then see whenever that money runs out, they stay in the same care home and the government picks up the tab, right? But they have to have used up all their money first. And what that's doing is it's taking away intergenerational wealth, because those people have spent all their life working, doing their stuff, buying their home, gaining their assets, and those assets should be going to their children, which would help them out, and then also help out their grandchildren and help families move from lower class to middle class. It takes approximately 3 generations working their ass off to get people from working class areas to middle class areas, right? And this method of extracting that money and stopping the intergenerational wealth is keeping the poorest people down. It's absolutely fucking nuts. And you know, the other thing is like that this process of put people in the care homes and sell their house to pay for it. That's not just UK. It's not just Australia. It's it's all the Western nations. Everywhere's doing that. I mean, how did you all have the same fucking idea at the same fucking time?
Exactly.
If it's not being directed by some higher force.
Exactly.
And it boils my piss that people can't. I mean, I've had people tell me that Agenda 21 was a conspiracy theory. Agenda 2030 is a conspiracy theory. Why the fuck's it on the United Nations own website?
Yeah. Why the on top of that, why the fuck you've got it on screen? Why the fuck's on the Scottish government's website?
Yes. It goes from the unelected United Nations policy to the Scottish government's policy. It's on the Northern Ireland government's policy. It'll be on. There'd be bits of it on British government policy.
Yeah, it is.
It's in the Canadian government policy. It's in the American government policy. It's in the fucking Swedish government policy. It's in the and and you don't think there's a conspiracy. The conspiracy is that we've got a bunch of people that weren't elected that have just taken over everybody's government. Nobody has an elected government anymore. If you think you've got an elected government, you haven't, because they are duty bound to bring forward whatever in the name of holy good fuck the United Nations, the World Health Organization, other NGOs decide to fucking bring in.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, like the sort of
and Bilderberg.
Bilderberg is one of many. But like the battles will always be that one world government's as a conspiracy theory, etc., etc. But we're effectively living under a one world government regime purely on the basis of the fact that all of our governments are acting according to legislation or policy or human rights bills, etc., etc. So like the migration compact is one, or the refugee compact is one, or all these sustainable development, all this bullshit. We're all acting. We're all effectively begging the United Nations to tell us how high to jump when they tell us to jump.
Yeah.
So irrespective of whether or not we have to do these things as a country, like government, that is, we're doing it anyway. So we're effectively giving the United Nations the power that it seeks. So we might as well just put it into fucking law, in the black and white on paper, that we're all prepared to live under a one world government, because we're all acting as if we are already.
Oh, and here's another question: how do they're called NGOs? Very rarely get called their full name, non-governmental organizations. How the fuck do you get to be a non-government organization that interacts and works hand in glove with the government without the government's complete consent?
Exactly. I mean, that's just such nonsense. We're at a point there where they can just effectively say what they want, and people will lap it up. If that was real, and these organizations were in fact legitimate in nature, with no hidden hands pulling their strings and funding them, then our governments would be making it illegal to sort of conspire as part of one of these organizations. But as it stands, they don't. They just use that as an excuse to justify what's fucking happening.
Oh,
yes, exactly. They're government funded. You might not see it in black and white, but the reality of the matter is they preach the exact same practices as the government. The best example for that would be the quote unquote migrant crisis, or the English Channel bullshit. Like these NGOs go about picking up, or the Mediterranean as well. NGOs go about picking up these migrants and then taking them to Europe. And it's like, but their NGOs are going, nothing to do with Europe, like, well, then ban them. Make it fucking illegal to do that. But they won't. Because they're the scapegoats, but they're doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, the main NGOs, the top level ones, were set up by fucking governments. It was governments got together and set up the United Nations. It was governments got together and set up the World Health Organization. And then they fund them. And then in order to get NGO status, you've got to have the governments agree that you meet the criteria, whatever the fuck the criteria is. That's something we might actually need to look into to become an NGO. And we have supposedly benevolent organizations such as who's them fuckers that go out to Africa and put up camps for homeless people whenever there's a drought, and give all that sort of aid. Oxfam and the like.
Yeah, well,
they go out. There's a place in Africa where nobody's got food, nobody's got clean water, and they go out and they set up this camp, and it fucking draws everybody to it. And do you know what? What about setting up? And they come from the UK, they come from America as well. What about setting up one of them camps in Hyde Park and providing tents and food and sanitation for the homeless?
You'd think, it's the old expression, charity begins at home.
Yeah, well, if you were if you were genuinely interested in helping people, you would help the people closest to you.
Exactly.
Why spend the money to go to Africa to help people whenever there's people that need help at home? Because it's not about helping people. The other thing is we are required as a country to put a certain amount of our GDP into humanitarian aid. I can't remember what the percentage is, and we have to spend that every year. We are required to, and that requirement ended up in things like Great Britain funding the South African version of the Spice Girls.
No, I mean that.
Yeah, right. Because it's coming near the end of our year. We've got budget left. We need to spend it. Find something quick.
Yeah.
And the one thing that is totally prohibited is spending it in your own country.
Mm-hmm. Before you go any further, I just want to highlight a comment because I'm looking at the chat now. IJ, he said, deep dive to find climatologists who agree with you means you're maybe searching in the wrong direction. I'm assuming, now correct me if I'm wrong, I'm assuming that you're referencing what I said earlier on, and your implication being that because they don't allow for dissenting opinions to be aired, that there's a reason for that, aka the narrative is correct, right? Nah, as I said earlier on, when they declared their quote-unquote climate emergency, it has given them carte blanche to deliberately exclude dissenting opinions from being aired, right? So the narrative is presented as, well, the science has said, oh, there's an emergency, therefore here's, it's like Blue Peter, here's one I made earlier. Then they roll out all of these fucking scientists that are either on government payrolls or are ideologically aligned to the people that are pushing this nonsense. There is a myriad of fucking things out there, or people out there, that you can listen to that have differing opinions. It's the whole basis of science in and of itself. Nothing is quote unquote settled. But the reality of the matter is, the vast majority of what they proclaim pertaining to CO2 emissions creating climate change predicated on fucking nonsense. All of their predictions predicated on computer simulations that take place several 4 to 5 years. All wrong. Every prediction they've made since Al Gore, and even well before Al Gore, but Al Gore's the one that I love to bring up as an example because of his stupid wee documentary that he made when he was running for the presidency. All bullshit. Like, all bullshit, but nah, it must be real though, because we don't hear any dissenting opinions. Same principle applies with everything else they push. With the racism nonsense, oh, we know this, we know that. We know that there's not enough black CEOs because of more racism. Therefore, we must create policies to eradicate racism. Or the same with the feminists. They'll say the same thing. There's not enough women CEOs, or, for example, must be misogyny. We need policies to eradicate misogyny. It's the same thing. They roll out so-called activists and stakeholders, etc., who share the same ideology as the people that are pushing the agendas.
Here, DJ, have you seen this? Hold on, I'm going to take us out of this, make us a bit bigger. This is quite interesting.
Yes.
Just boxes of money.
Right.
Just boxes and boxes of money.
You know, they say that money doesn't grow on trees. No, but it definitely grows on fucking A4 pieces of paper and a print screen desk. You know, but the question is, where's that money really going to? Where's it come from?
Yeah. Oh, where's it came from? What's it going on? And how's it being regulated?
Yeah.
Because that's a shit lot of money.
But it's never enough. Doesn't matter where this money gets donated to. All the things that apparently it's going to solve or help to aid never comes to fruition.
Yeah, it's all a bit weird.
Like one of the other things as well, like their latest humanitarian thing they got going on, Scotland again. Well, it's always Scotland, first country in the world to declare a climate justice fund, but there's now several other countries doing it, and this is all based on this fucking. It's like they say that, you know, the global north, global south, and white countries are responsible. Brown people are affected most, etc., etc. So we donate large sums of money annually now to poorer countries to help them rectify the impacts of non-existent man-made climate change. Well, I've not seen any of these impacts coming into fruition. Like, they're just being given fucking money. That's all that's happening here. What are they doing to become quote unquote more resilient? Nothing.
Oh, here, by the way, that video has been on YouTube for I don't know. I need to actually look back up to see what, but it's more than 3 or 4 years ago. So it's not Zelensky related. Although that's not to say that he doesn't have similar boxes, because he probably has. You know, it's maddening. And a lot of this is a lot of the aid and a shitload of war stuff, and the money that goes into that is being, and a hell of a lot of climate stuff. Spending money on windmills that don't work, solar power that doesn't work, is about using up money, because if you ran the country efficiently, and if you were to run the country efficiently, people would have more in their day-to-day lives, because this all comes out of tax money, and it's supposed to go back for the betterment of the people. The latest thing we've got is fucking street lights, new street lights that don't light up the street.
Do you know what's funny, because we don't have them up here, but what word I was the day, obviously, as the day progressed and got in the evening, and I could barely see a fucking thing down the road today.
Yeah,
they're supposed to be efficient for energy and what. They don't light up the roads at all.
Yeah, but they don't light the street.
No,
you can't see what's happening. Now, imagine if that money was spent on healthcare. We could actually run our hospitals 7 days a week, because we don't. We our hospitals do operations Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah,
they basically shut down, this. They don't do operations on Thursday or Friday, because if anything goes wrong, there's not enough people in the emergency, the intensive care wards to deal with it over the weekend. So they stop doing operations on a Wednesday. Thursday, Friday's a non-op day, or very, very minor ops day. So if we weren't spending money on wasting it and destroying it, then we could actually fund that. Or we could have lower taxes and let people keep more of the money that they earn. Or we could fix the potholes in the road, and maybe you wouldn't need new suspension every 2 fucking years. So what they're doing is making us artificially poor. Yeah. We should have a lot more available income than we have, but no, we've got to bring in fucking. We've got to put in new lights that don't fucking light the street.
Yeah, from a clean.
Yeah, from a climate. Yeah, what happens? What happens whenever, particularly, it'll probably affect you as well. In the winter, we have very dark mornings. What happens whenever a child gets run over because they couldn't be seen in the road because they fucking made the light shite?
Well, that's the thing. Light will never be brought into it. Like the light will never be used as justification or as an excuse or whatever.
Or even not necessarily a child. A person walking home. Yeah, person walking home at fucking 2 o'clock in the morning steps out on the road because they didn't hear the electric car. Mm-hmm. Right, and the electric car fucking plows over the top of them because they could not see the person on the footpath because they've made the lighting shit.
Mm-hmm. These are things that could happen. They probably already have fucking happened, to be honest.
Yeah, yes, but yeah, but we're helping. It's fucking nuts.
Mm-hmm. Just on that point as well, though, about to add with the funding. I mean, I know the stream that I did the other week after you finished streaming was a bit laggy in sections, which really annoyed me. But I was going over the latest Scottish government budget. So they'll sit in Parliament and talk to no end about, well, guys, if you've got a problem with struggling services, point to a point in our budget where we can take money from and we'll pump it into said service. Well, as my stream showcased, there's a myriad of different nonsensical fucking aspects of Scottish society that they're funding, but that they've got plenty of money when it suits them to pour into projects to increase immigration or diversification, etc., but they don't have that same amount of money to aid the NHS or fund teachers. Not that I really agree with these strikes at this point because they're just taking the fucking piss. But my point is, though, that all of these services that are struggling across society in a Scottish context, they've got plenty of money to provide, but they just prefer to pump it into social justice escapades, if you will. Like 4 million here, 4 million here, 7 million here, etc., for just total nonsense. They do have the money and they do have the means. They just choose to fucking prioritize certain things over others, which goes a long way into showcasing how full of shit they are, you ask me.
Yeah, Billy, these lights are, you'll probably remember whenever, like, you and I were children, our lampposts in the street used to be made of concrete. They were like hexagonal, and you could put a rope around it and double up the rope and make a loop at the bottom and swing around the lamppost, put a cushion on it so the rope doesn't cut into your bum. And
they're
you
LED
actually,
lights.
What?
LED lights.
They had like bulbs in them, and the bulbs would illuminate the street. Well, they took those away, and they took those ones away, and they put in metal ones with lights on it, and now they're putting in new ones again that are all LED lights, and they don't illuminate the fucking street.
Yeah, check your private chat. Like, there's an example of it from the Daily Record. There you go. If you want to fire that up.
Right, let's see. Hold on. Gotta accept some cookies. Close this. There we go. Right. Angry householders are taking a dim view of Raffenshire's Council's 11 million streetlight replacement scheme. Residents across Paisley are criticising the flagship operators for leaving them in the dark. The council has been installing around 3,000 new LED bulbs and removing the old sodium ones to save cash and cut down on power bills because the new technology is more environmentally friendly. But many people are complaining the new lamps are leaving them frightened and stumbling around in the dark. Others are struggling to park their cars or get their keys in through their front doors, and some are now carrying torches. Maggot Chestnut of Glenburn took to social media to vent her frustration. She said, "Has anyone else had issues since they changed the street light bulbs over? I'm in Hollybush Avenue, and both myself and many of my neighbours have had to start using flashlights as it's so dark here now. I can't imagine how bad it is for people who have any kind of physical issues. I'd really appreciate input in other streets in Glenburn." She added she can barely see a thing unless she is standing right underneath. While Amy Peacock, also of Glenburn, added, "It's the same on my street, Cullenhaig Avenue. It's nearly pitch black in the street. The lights are useless." Right, so a lot of people saying they're crap.
Mm-hmm.
Is there?
And they are. I've seen it firsthand when I was down the road today. I wasn't in Paisley, but I was nearby, and I couldn't see a fucking thing when it got dark. I was in a not what they called a retail park, and I trying to like look from my rear view mirror to reverse. I couldn't see a fucking thing. The lights are just shit. Absolutely shite.
Off. Eat more carrots, Ludwig says. But here's the thing: that whole carrots will make you see in the dark. That was a scam put out by the British Air Force during World War II. Their pilots had night radar in their Spitfires and Hurricanes, and they tried to explain the reason why they could shoot they could find the Germans and shoot them down was because they had a pilot who ate an exceptionally large amount of carrots as a child and could pretty much see in the dark. So eating carrots ain't going to help. Well, if you take a disc cutter and cut the fuckers down, you'll have no light at all. It's not, they're not going to put it back up with the old bulbs on it. It's just not going to happen. I was looking to see if there was a picture there because I'm thinking, right, they might actually show a picture of how dark it is, and then it dawned on me that, well, you wouldn't actually see the picture. You have a picture of a light. It's bollocks.
It's fucking everywhere. Well, we don't have them up here, but it's only a matter of time.
Yeah, fucking. It's just another fucking thing that you can see the lights. It's like whenever you have a bicycle light. Here's another thing: bicycle lights are now useless because you get your just got a telegram from Sansimer. Yes, you buy like a £5 to £10 light for your bicycle, and it puts a bit of light out, and it's there for you to be seen. It's not to see with. So what's going to happen, and how you seen as a cyclist getting about, was by the use of the street lights, but they no longer work.
Yeah.
Fuck! I tell you what, there's going to be problems with cyclists, particularly going to work and coming home from work, and this time of the year, whenever we have fucking dark mornings and a very short day.
There's a part of me that wants to be a dickhead and say things that are disparaging against cyclists because I fucking hate them. But I know I get your point. They really annoy me. But no, you're right. You can't see a thing with these lights. But it's just one example of many. All these, we need to do things to cut costs. We need to do things for my climate. But yet they've got money in abundance to fucking fire away to wee baby Zelensky or to black people in Africa, etc. It's remarkable, really.
Here, DJ, how do you figure out what your Telegram username is?
What do you mean?
Right, I've got a Telegram.
Oh, right? You don't have an app, though, eh?
No,
is that what you're on about?
I downloaded it on my computer, but I don't have an app. There's no @42 at it. I think. Fuck! I know what it is. My Mark's family phone number. Yeah. No.
If you go into your fucking. Oh, if you don't have it on your phone, it might be a bit different, but you click on your account, and then your phone number will pop up, and then underneath it will say username. So you just type in a username.
Right. That's all my contacts. I'll figure it out later. Right. Oh well. Never mind. Who knows? Right. It's come up to 1:10. Is there anything else you want to talk about, mate? Because I'm considering making this in the hair.
Nah, you're all right. Fucking Elimination Chamber's on now, eh? So yes, I like wrestling because I'm gay.
Yeah. Well, my throat starts to go if I talk for longer than like 2.5 hours.
That's all good.
Toffee reckons he thought I was a technical whiz. Only with stuff that I know how to work. Telegram's just too newfangled for me.
It's probably a bit more complicated on the computer, I suppose. It's easier on the phone to sort of navigate through settings and whatnot. So,
yeah, right. Oh, I'm gonna find some outro music. There's an idea.
Right, well, I'm going to fuck off there because the elimination was on. It started at 1. So appreciate it. I'm your own, Mike. But
really enjoyed it, mate. Thank you very much for coming on.
Well, it was a pleasure. Finally got my grievances out about Sturgeon, eh?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
I will let you do your thing. And until next time, don't do anything I wouldn't do.
Okay. Thanks very much, mate. And all the best. And obviously, welcome back anytime.
You'll probably see me next Saturday. To be honest.
Anyway,
adios.
Adios. All the best, chum.
You too, Godji. Later on.
Here we go. We're going with the gay frogs. Did that come up? It did. Gay frogs.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that? Turn the friggin' frogs gay. Serious crap. Gay. Frogs, friggin' frogs. It's not funny. I'm gonna say it real slow for you. Gay. Frogs. Won't you fight for your life? Gay frogs, friggin' frogs. I don't like a frog. Gay friggin' frogs. Frogs. Friggin' frog crap. Won't you fight the frogs? It's not funny. I'm gonna say it real slow for you. Frogs. Place point.
All right, everybody. Thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure. DJ was DJ. I've been 42. You lot in the chat, as always, have been fucking excellent. Good night. God bless, and see you all next week. All the best. I'm out of here. Gone.